Now, another good example of a public apology would be Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which in this case is a public apology to Roald Dahl for making an unfaithful adaptation of the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
What the hell is this?
Hear me out. Now, I bet we can all agree that nothing can top Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. Anyways, what makes Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a public apology is that when Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory first came out, despite all the praise it got from the critics, Roald Dahl himself hated Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So much so that not only was he discouraged to let anyone make movies based off any of his books, but also Stephen Ellison, aka That Fell on the Coat, would then later on do a slam at Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and in defense of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
So, if you haven't seen Willy Wonka, do yourself a favor. Skip that, read the book, and watch the Tim Burton version.
The reason why Roald Dahl would hate Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and do a remake of that film being called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is because when you do get to read the original book, you will see that the story that can be seen in the original book is also using the one with Johnny Depp. Now, before anyone can go spam me any hate mail for saying that, at least let me point out some moments from the new film that can be seen in the original book. Now, do you guys remember Veruca Salt's defeat scene? In the original film, we do get to see that Veruca Salt wants to buy a goose, and thus making her a bad egg.
She was a bad egg.
In both the remake and the original book, we do get to see that Veruca Salt wants to buy a squirrel.
I want a squirrel!
And thus making her a bad nut.
Oh my goodness, she is bad nut after all.
And do you guys remember what happened after Mike TV got defeated? In the original film, after Mike TV got defeated, at one point we do get to see Willy Wonka being harsh towards Charlie Buck and Grandpa Joe.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And then after Charlie Bucket gave the gobstopper back to Willy Wonka, this is the moment where Willy Wonka would then go tell Charlie Bucket that he won.
You won. You did it. You did it. I knew you would. I just knew you would. Oh, Charlie, forgive me for putting you through this. Please, forgive me.
In both the remake and the original book, after Mike TV just got defeated, Willy Wonka would then just go tell Charlie Bucket that he won.
Oh, my dear boy, that means you've won. Oh, I do congratulate you. I really do. I'm absolutely delighted. I had a hunch, you know, right from the beginning. Well done. Now, we mustn't dilly or dally, because we have an enormous number of things to do before the day's out. But luckily for us, we have the great glass elevator to speed things along.
Alright, if there's one thing that was not in the remake but was in both the original book and the original movie, it's this. Do you guys remember when Mike TV won a golden ticket?
You bet.
In the original book and the original movie, when Mike TV won a golden ticket, Mike TV was seen watching TV.
Can't you shut up? I'm busy.
In the remake, when Mike TV won a golden ticket, Mike TV was seen playing video games.
Die! Die! Die!
That's because when Roald Dahl was writing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they didn't have video games back then. When Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory first came out, video games were just introduced with Pong. When Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory first came out in theaters, it was the big year of Star Wars video games and the Xbox 360 was introduced. And now, another good example of a public apology would be the Simpsons movie, in which in this case it was made as a public apology to those who are disappointed about the fact that 20th Century Fox has not released a single hand-drawn animated film to theaters ever since Titan AE. Hear me out. In 2000, 20th Century Fox released Titan AE. Titan AE bombed at the box office because people didn't know who that movie is for. Whether it be for the kids because of the cute alien creatures, or the science fiction crowd because of all the action and future technology. After Titan AE was released, Fox Animation Studios closed down, and animators Don Bluth and Gary Goldman both left the film industry. Wait, they're gonna make a new Dragon Slayer movie? Sweet! Anyways, Ice Age would then eventually become a computer animated movie produced by Blue Sky. Not only that, but also all animated films that came out after Titanic were all computer animated. In 2007, 20th Century Fox Pictures returned to hand-drawn animation with The Simpsons movie. It was an incredible success. Now another good example of a public apology would be the Family Guy episode Christmas Guy, which in this case is a public apology to Family Guy fans for killing off Brian Griffin in Life of Brian.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Quiet, Peter Griffin! Anyways, in 2013, Fox aired a Family Guy episode called Life of Brian, not to be confused with the Monty Python movie. Anyways, when Life of Brian first aired, it led up to a major outcry from fans of Family Guy. Wow, adult animated TV shows sure do know how to kill off a beloved character. First, they killed off Maud Flanders from The Simpsons. And second, they've killed off Chef from South Park. And now they just killed off Brian Griffin. Thankfully, a month later, Brian Griffin returned to the show with Christmas Guy. How did he do it, you guys may ask? Well, it was all thanks to when Stewie Griffin time traveled.
Great Scott!
Now, another good example of another public apology would be Universal's 2006 movie adaptation of Curious George, which in this case is a public apology to those who feel dissatisfied about the fact that Universal hasn't released a single hand-drawn animated film into theaters, or should I say a theatrical animated film that matters since Balto. In 1986, Universal released An American Tail. It was an incredible success, beating out Disney's The Great Mouse Detective. An American Tail became the highest grossing non-Disney animated film of all time. Because of its success, it got a theatrical sequel, a TV series, 2 direct-to-video midpulls,
that nobody cares about,
and a theme park attraction. Fightful Mouse Squids would also later on become the mascot of Emblemation and UNICEF. In 1988, The Land Before Time was released. This was the second animated film that George Lucas has ever worked on, the first one being Twice Upon a Time. As for the rest, I think I'm gonna let Animat fill me in with this part once again.
when it was released on November 18th, 1988, it wasn't alone. It was released on the same day as Disney's Oliver and Company. Both films got good reviews from critics for the same reasons. Financially worldwide, it was The Land Before Time that earned more with more than $84 million. Wait, haven't I done this before? Probably not. 6 years after its release, The Land Before Time earned its first direct-to-video sequel called The Great Valley Adventure. After that, there was another one released a year later. And then there was another one. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one! In other words...
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about the number of Land Before Time sequels?
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
Actually, there's less than that, but considering that there's also a TV series based on the movie, might as well be.
Anyways, in 1991, Universal released their first ever animated sequel, An American Tail 5 Goes West. An American Tail 5 Goes West was also the first film coming from Emblemation. It also marks the directorial debut of longtime Spielberg collaborator / DreamWorks animator Simon Wells, who is also the great-great-grandson of H.G. Wells. When it was released, it got overshadowed by Disney's Beauty and the Beast. In 1993, We Are Back, A Dinosaur Story was released. It got overshadowed by Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. In 1995, Emblemation released their final film, Balto, When Balto was released, it got overshadowed by Toy Story. After Balto was released, it got 2 direct-to-video sequels. Animation would then become DreamWorks Animation, considering the fact that Steven Spielberg, who ran Animation, co-founded DreamWorks SKG alongside with Jeffrey Katzenberg and David Geffen, and whenever we see Universal do something with animation again, all they do are nothing but direct-to-video films and TV shows. In 2006, Universal returned to theatrical animated films with Curious George. It was so successful that it would even get 2 direct-to-video sequels and a TV series that would air on PBS Kids. Now, another good example of a public apology would be the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water, in which in this case it's a public apology to us longtime SpongeBob fans who may feel disappointed about the fact that Steven Hillenburg hasn't been a part of the SpongeBob creative team since the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Hear me out. In 1999, Nickelodeon first aired SpongeBob SquarePants. It was an incredible success. It was the longest running Nickelodeon TV show, beating out Rugrats.
Hey, what's the big idea?
It would also be Barack Obama's favorite TV show. In 2004, Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Movies released the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. It was an incredible success. After Nickelodeon was finished making the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Steven Hillenburg left the show. In 2015, the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water was released. It was also another major success. It was the first film to come from Paramount Animation.